Well, hello there, boys and girls. What a wonderful thing to be doing today, having a look at the big cat at the end of the second German medium line, the Leopard 1. The Leopard, named obviously because it freaking flies. It goes like the clappers, like a rat up a drain pipe. It absolutely tears the ground asunder. It gets out there and moves. Quicker than a T62A, got a top end. It accelerates like that, and it's got a top end like the E50M. It absolutely powers across the ground. It's got a gun to die for, godlike weaponization, and of course with all these wonderful things you get a fantastically poor armor profile. It's got the armor profile that's basically armored with good intentions, hopes and prayers. It is a terrible armor profile, but that's to be expected. You pay a penalty for the incredible mobility and weapon on this tank. Now, as always, bit of housekeeping. If you want to catch up, I'm always having a chat on the game discussion forums, World of Tank Blitz Asia portal under the English speaking section there. Come and have a yarn, get involved in the banter. It's all good, it's all fun. Likewise, drop me a line on Twitter. That's starting to slowly burgeon into something. At Bushka on Blitz. Or you can always just go onto the channel here and knock yourself out. Now, there's a lot of good stuff coming up on the channel. I've actually come on as a partner with Wargaming, and we'll be doing some video work for them. I can't reveal anything about that, though, obviously, because, you know, insider trading, all that kind of thing, you get in trouble. But there will be some official stuff coming up in the next wee while. Now, back to this tank. 65 km/h speed limit. A traverse speed of 54 degrees. A turret traverse of 36, which might seem small, but at 54 degrees traverse, you can get round and into anything you want, anytime you want. Weighs 40 tonne, but has 830 horsepower, so more than 20 horsepower per tonnage. At the same time, your ground resistance and soft terrain stats are brilliant as well. So you have speed, you have incredible mobility, you can be anywhere on the battlefield at any time. You have very good camo rating, not quite T62A style, but you're right up there. And you have just an absolutely incredible weapon. The E50M has basically the same gun stats. It's got 2 more penetration on average, but it's only 7 rounds per minute, whereas your 8 rounds per minute. It's 2.1 second aim time, whereas your 2 second of aim time. You've got a better gun than the E50M. Wrap your head around that. That thing, the E50M, has a gun that is ridiculous already. You fire an extra round a minute and you've got about 5% quicker aim time. It is sublime. It is an absolute fantastic offensive weapon. Where it's going to fall down on you is that you will be penned by everything. There is nothing out there that will not pen you. What they don't have, though, is they don't have brake lights and indicators. Look at that. So if you want to take a right-hand turn, you just flash your indicator signal, turn right. Everyone on the battlefield knows where you're going. No accidents. So the Leopard 1. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time in the garage in this tank because, I mean, it's got the best dispersion on a weapon at tier 10. It's got a super quick aim time at 2 seconds flat. It's got a big, healthy 350 alpha. Its range is outstanding. It uses APCR shells. So while the Conqueror and such, the 215B might have a slightly quicker aim time, this tank has a much, much better dispersion, and it has APCR shells which get through the air. That means that when you fire over long ranges, you will get to the target very, very quickly. Your shell velocity is exceptional, whereas heavy tanks using AP shells, they don't have that same shell velocity. So when they fire across sniping ranges, they struggle. This tank does not have that issue. This has a laser beam on the end of an eggshell turret. And I keep using that word eggshell because that's exactly what it is. It's the kind of tank that will be penned by anything from tier 6 and up using standard ammunition. You don't need gold to pen this thing. In fact, if you're hit from the side or the rear by a high caliber HE gun, you're going to get absolutely slaughtered. I've hit this tank for 1100 while driving tank destroyers, and it's just a truism. If you overstep your boundaries on this thing, it'll let you know snap, because you will be immediately obliterated. You can get one shot from 1,000 hit points. That's a scary thought. So you really have to pay attention in this tank and learn how to drive it effectively. You need to sometimes be a bit reckless with it, but rely on the speed. And that's what I do. You get the speed to get yourself into trouble, get the speed to get yourself out of trouble. Now, we're going to have a quick look at the armor profile, and then as soon as we're done with that, we're going to jump straight into the gameplay, because I want to talk about this tank in game situations. It's really important. So let's have a look at this tank from the perspective of a tier 6 heavy tank. So I'm going to repeat that. This is what you look like to the KV-1S using its 122mm D25T. A lot of green. You're going to get penned. If you are silly enough to sit out the front of an enemy tank, giving it an opportunity to hit you anywhere, you are going to get penned. 117mm of effective armor there. You can see 70mm armor plate, 35 on your sides, 60 on the sides of your turrets, 25 on your ass. You will get high caliber HE through and through if you show them your sides and rear. Do not be still in this tank unless it's a situation where you have to make sure a shot goes in to win a game, or it's a trade-off to get rid of a really important enemy tank. Your armor profile is laughable. Ha 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 ha. That's what your armor profile is. It is laughable. Do not rely on this tank's armor profile in any situation, except possibly if somehow you end up in a tier 1 game. Then go for your life. You may well bounce some shots. I'm done. Now here we are. Very easy to get to spots like this when you are in a Leopard 1. Your rate of climb is phenomenal. You are basically just an engine going up on a mountain with a few tracks either side and a gun stuck on top. That means that you can get to spots very quickly, very successfully, and you'll see that in some of the gameplay, and I don't want to spoil it now, but there's also spots on mines where you can go straight up the side of the hill. If you have a look at Ruckus's E25M review that he recently just posted up on Water Tank Blitz, you'll see him going up the side of the mountain on mines. You can do that in the Leopard absolutely easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can also relocate. You are the relocations expert, not the real estate agents. You are. You'll see here I am on Black Goldville. The rest of the team started to fold and go all over the joint, and I'm the only one really holding this line. So what I'm using is just spotting back and forth, doing damage, and they want me bad because I've been putting effective fire in there. So look at this thing reverse, turn around, and I'm out. I'm gone. Absolutely flying. No worries whatsoever. You'll be rolling at 60 kilometers an hour in no time. And while they're moving down the flank and the rest of the team's starting to actually do some work, we're coming all the way around and up the top. And obviously this is fast forwarded, but you can get the point. They're still not completing their flank maneuver yet. The IS-8 that you're going to see there on the left of the minimap is still going to be an available target. He's still at the back, and we missed the first, but we get the second. Thank you for coming. That's something this tank can do. Likewise, I'm going to rush here. I'm calling an attack because I've looked at the enemy team. There's not a lot of tanks there. I'm worried about getting up the top of this mountain early. I'm going to rush and cut them off at the pass. I've dropped turbo and I'm flying along now over the flat. You can see they're all stuffing around in respawn still. I will get there before they get up the mountain. And it screws them over deluxe. We win this game very, very comfortably. These are things the Leopard 1 can do. There's stuff, there's speed, and there's maneuverability, and there's hill climbing ability, and you get there. The rest of my team are just starting to dawdle on up now. But that's all right, because we've stopped the flank. Likewise, you'll see me here. This is an E100. Not the fastest tank in the world, but I am going to be circle strafing him, circle of deathing him. Not very well. You'll see I'm not driving it particularly well, but I'm doing it in reverse. That's the kind of ability this tank has. The only reason I have to stop doing this is because this bloody Persian gets in the way and blocks me. But that's the speed this tank has. These are the positives that this tank, if you think outside the box, can bring to the table. Now, this review was originally over an hour long, and even by my standards, that's getting out wide and ridiculous. And I had to drop 2 games. Every game you see in this review is a Gold Mastery Badge game. I had to drop 2 Gold Mastery Badge games just because it was getting ridiculous. Now, I'm not that good a driver. It's just that there are not a lot of people who've persevered through the Leopard PTA, got all the way to the Leopard 1, because the Leopard PTA can be a really tough nut to crack. It's a particularly fragile tank, just like this, but it doesn't have the DPM, and it's terrible at brawling. It gets out DPM by tier 7 medium. So hence you'll see all the games are mastery games, and this game in particular has actually featured in a Platoon boom with Snake Eyes Warrior. You can see here, look at this gun go to work. That's one very easy shot. Then we hit another little snapshot come out. There's an Object 704 over there. You watch this gun, accurate as can be. Look at it, zip that one in. And then straight out on this E50M again. Is that an E50M? Into the side of the turret. Snake Eyes is doing the business on him as well. And even on the turn here, we still get the back of him and knock another one in. So this gun is obviously incredible. It's brilliant. Watch the turning circle here inside Snake's T62A. When I realise that he's going to crash, we come inside him, no worries at all. 54 degrees of traverse per second. We'll do that for you, and Snake finishes him off. Now, this game was in a Platoon boom, and I reused it because it's a great example of how you can work in close. And there's so much sniping in these videos because it's a great sniper. But this is an example of bringing the DPM to bear with a partner. Now, we've cleaned up that flank. We're a tank down. Snake's going to come across in the middle of the cap, start putting pressure on, and we're going to hit this ST1 as he moves across. There's an IS-3 is going to roll up here as well, and Snake's on this ST as well. He is going to be eyeballing him too, and then we're going to just move back and change to the IS-3. But you can see we missed this shot, but the rounds are coming out. The DPM is good. The constant turnover, and watch, we hit him and beat him on a reload, get back, no problems at all. Now, Snake's low on hit points. An IS-8 is going to come up behind him in a second. We're both going to go out here and pump this IS-3. We miss our first shot, which is just unlucky, just one of those things. But you can see here the DPM of these two tanks together, and it's why the T62A and the Leopard 1 work really well together. Look at them, just both pounding out. Both got good numbers on their guns, and he's a very quick loss. The IS-8 behind, people love firing at the Leopard 1. It's so squishy. You can see the IS-8 takes out my track. I'm trying to push here and distract him from Snake, who is a one-shot, so that I can use our effective hit point pool as a platoon, the two of us put together, rather than just hanging on to my hit points and trying to do it 2-on-1. I'm going to track this guy as he comes over the top, you'll see here, and then I'm going to nose up to him so that I hold him there and Snake can constantly put shots into his bum. And then we're going to use that lovely gun and traverse speed, back out. The IS-8, even though it's a nimble enough heavy tank, cannot match it. We turn around and hammer him. And you'll see here how good this gun is by the little pimple that we've got to shoot at next to the gun on the stock turret of the ST1, straight through with APCR. No worries whatsoever. So we had to revisit this game, and I just thought it was a good example of showing you how it worked well in Platoon with the T62A, and from the other side of the map, because we do have another game on Fails Creek nearly immediately, and that's going to show you, this is a very poor shot here. I should have just taken my time, made the shot, and had an easy win. Instead, I don't take my time, rush a shot on a turning ST, and get myself killed. Wow. But onwards and upwards. Snake, it's all up to you now. If you've been watching Platoon Boom, you'll know how this one turns out. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Go the snake, go the big snake, go the snake, go the snake, go the snake. So, interesting, really. First up game in the Leopard. I'd love to see more people playing this tank. It's a tough sell, and I think people come into it with a real preconception that it's going to be this crazy DPM, run around, outflank everyone, circle of death. If you play this tank too aggressively, you will get punished and punished and punished, and it will not let up. Likewise, if you take your time with this tank and you watch the mini-map at all times, you will be doing good. Just out of interest, I always run a rammer and vents on this tank. The last slot can be used for optics, which I use it for, binoculars, even camo net, any of those things. They're all very much in play. There you go, Snake. Well done, Sunshine. Very good job. Carry the day. I think this is just about the lowest damage you're going to see. I think it's sub 4K. We left out 5,000 damage games on this tank just because we needed the space. And if it goes to an hour, people will start complaining. The neighbours will get upset. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Here's our second match on Fales Creek, coming from the southern spawn this time, as opposed to the last one. Now, we talked a little bit about equipment there. So I run optics because it's active. Camo net and binoculars are not active equipment. They only really work when you're stationary. Optics will give you that 10% vision. Now, this tank has excellent view range, 265. So with your optics, you're looking at nearly another 30. So you're looking at about 291 as your view range, nearly 300 meters, which is excellent. With binoculars, I've used them and they're outstanding. In one of the games we dropped, actually, there's a really good sequence where you can see the view range of 330 picking people up as they come down the flank on Winter Malinovka, and they've got no idea where the damage is coming from. But optics also works a little bit like a reverse camo. People can see you at, say, 250. You can see people at 290. Therefore, you're actually seeing them well before they get in your view range. You're hitting them and they still can't see you. So it's like a camo net, but it's always going to help you. And it'll help you in more situations than just that. Now, I'd love to be able to carry a camo net in this tank. It has good camo numbers, not quite as good as the T62A for all that, but they're excellent camo numbers. And you can see here the way we spot and do damage on Fales Creek. Oh, this map. This map, this map, this map, this map. It's just so many people go that bridge. It's nice to see a team here that doesn't know. You can see us just pounding away. If you get free spots like this, where there is no one that can, and that IS-8 knows the fire's coming from somewhere over here, but he's got no clue as to where, and he's the softest target there, so I'm just going to get rid of him first before we turn our attention to the IS-7. We're hoping we don't have to fire heat, but it's a tough old armour profile, the IS-7. Now they're starting to pour down that left-hand flank. This T-34 is coming across. He's going to spot me. That's fair enough. And that's when we motor, because you do not want to get stuck in a spot where more than one person can see you. And we just rushed that shot. Should have taken a little bit of time, but you get a little bit lazy with this tank, believing it's got that kind of gun that you never really have to aim stuff. You can see there just how quickly it locks and loads. That T-34 really overstepped his boundaries. The DPM on this tank is not a sucker's tank. It can put DPM out there. So it's not just a sniper, it's also a damage machine. And I think that's something you miss with the Leopard PTA. The PTA really struggles to put damage out there. It's got the same gun, but with only about 5 rounds per minute, as opposed to the 8 rounds you get, and that's a lot of damage. It's a real tough one. But you can see here we're moving up quickly. That T62, I want to keep him on my flank, on my right, and not give him easy shots. And we're just moving up here to clean up this little section of the map. Look at the way it gets around. It absolutely gets across the ground, and so quick. I mean, it's... Now that hit, so don't think that it wasn't an effective shot, just didn't go in. So now we've got a 2-tank advantage. And this is what I'm talking about, going up hills. Look at how quickly it gets up the hills. That's important. It's not just soft stats, it's that power to weight ratio combined with those soft stats and the maneuverability, the turning ability of the tank. It's a Leopard for a reason, it really is. And then you get to the spots you want to get to really quickly. You can see here, we're in base now. We're just going to force some pressure on him, waiting for that IS-7 to pop. He went the flank and then he didn't push. And you've got to scream as a team when your 2 heavies, an IS-8 and an IS-7, both go that bloody bridge and leave everyone else in the team out in the lurch. I hate this map. I'd get rid of it in the rotation every chance I got. Yes, and I'm just chatting to the team. A couple of final words before we accept the trophy. I love putting pressure on from the cap in this tank as well. It's a sneaky thing because no one expects it. But you can really get here, put a few... I'll do this all the time on Fort Despair. Get to the cap, put about 10 or 15 clicks on the clock, and then just bugger off. And it changes the whole complexion of the match. Makes the enemy team, quite often you get people just start moving to the cat. And you can see this IS-7, by the time he gets around, we'll have had him for dinner. Just shot after shot. Really, really effective. Here comes the good, I don't know where he's been hiding, but, you know, saved his best for last. And that's when you don't have to worry too much about your hit points, because basically you've got enough DPM to handle these kind of guys as long as you've got an even set of hit points. We're just keeping him in front and finish him off. So there you go, Leopard 1 dominating Fails Creek like nobody's business. I think that's another gold mastery badge. Yep, another gold on them. Just over 5k damage. Here we are with Storm again. Now, I love this game. This is what I mean by the Leopard allows you to think it and then do it. You'll see me at the start. I'm not gonna pop an engine turbo or anything here. I'm simply gonna go up this hill in a straight line, no worries whatsoever, because I have a tank that is super light with a super big bit of grunt under the bonnet. But wait, Bushka, you're camping. Oh, don't camp, noob. All this kind of shit. I'm sick of people who say that. Look at this Leopard 1. Look at its armor. Look at its gun. Look at its view range. This is what it was built for. Storm is going to go up there and he's going to keep targets lit up like nobody's business. And what I'm going to do is help out by shooting them. If I was up there right now, I'd be so much less effective than that tank right there, that T-54. I wouldn't be as good as him. I don't have any armor whatsoever to speak of. But from here, I can put effective fire into everyone. And you can see I've just hit that guy at like 400 meters. He's got no action, no idea where it's coming from. Should have changed to heat here, Bushka. From heat to APCR, you gumnut. Realised my mistake a second too late. Would have had something in the barrel for that T-54. But I got him anyway. And Storm's doing a great job down the bottom. I am just trying to stay alive here and put effective fire into these two heavies, two big mediums. He's using the corpse of that dead T-54. Has he no respect whatsoever? These guys up there, I know it can be frustrating, but look, this tank, don't know why that can go in. You'd think that would have been an easy shot. But this tank, this is what it's good for, and this is what it's effective for. If I was up there, I would not be doing this damage, and there's no space up there for me anyway. Here we go. T110E5 at range is such a tough pen. It's got lots of semi-red spots, and it just bounces really strongly. So what they've done is they've forced the top. I've been spotted. I am going to hit the ground running. You can see straight away we are flying like a bat out of hell straight up here. And they've got a big, strong bunch of tanks here. You might think I was going to stop. You'd be incorrect. I'm not. This is what I mean about think it, do it. I've gone straight through. Straight through. A lesser human may well have stopped there and decided to fight front to front. Never do it with the Leopard. It's a waste of time. I don't know how this bounces. That's a joke. Absolute joke. Must have hit the bottom of the turret ring or something. But you never want to be the guy that is fighting front to front with a Leopard. It's death. And you can see there we get two really good shots in. Sorry, Snake. I know I left you in the lurch, mate, but I couldn't come back. You can see these guys are really frustrated. They want me bad. Snake's telling me don't rush. I'm right on with that. But this is what we talk about with the Leopard. You're flexible. You can move. You've got speed. Use it. Watch this. We just go. A little bit of air there because we fly along. We go down here, relocate, get a shot, kill the 62, move around, do the same again. We want to do that to the T110E5 that's low on hit points there. We might not have a very good shot at him, but we should be able to get something out of this. There we go. There's another one. So we've gone from one side to the other and back again, all without having to worry too much because this tank is that quick. It can get up and move like nobody's business. And if you're not putting yourself in position for flank shots, all the time, every time with this tank, you're going to get hammered. Do it. Move. Move, move, move. If you think you're going to fire and get hammered for it, then bloody well move. Only about 4k there, but a mastery badge again, just because not many people play this tank. Jelp Hole. Apparently, I'm maybe Danish or something. Yelp Hole? Help Hill, that was meant to be. Anyway, we've gone Hill. You can do that here. You can Yelp Hole. Simply because it's quick enough to get there first. And, you know, that's pretty handy, being the tank that gets there first. So we're past the entrance by the time that T62A gets up there, which is pretty hilarious considering how quick the T62A is. And we got a bounce. Do you see that? We got a bounce. I know. Stop me if you've heard this one. We got a bounce. We did stuff that shot. Always tough going over that little ridge there. It can be, we get another one in on the T62. It can be one of those areas where it just lifts your gun up. And we get another one in, but just a bad roll. We needed 4 more hit points there to finish him. We get a little bit of help. So he did pretty good. Their T62A made a real contest of it, and you've got to do that on mines, and hats off to him. It was him. He just got double teamed. That's all there is to it. But if you want to fight fair, go and play noughts and crosses. I'd rather win. If I've had plenty of times on Hill where I've been that guy. I've got no qualms about being the guy who gives it to him in return. So here we are. This is the area here, by the way, just in front of my tank and to the left of it there, behind those boxes, where you can come up from ground level in the Leopard 1. Now you can see always dodgy firing across those rocks. Still, one of the problems with this game is that it will track to rocks for some reason. I'm not sure why, it just does. That IS-8's feeling particularly frisky, and we've all been here, we've all done this before. We've all just worked Hill into the rocks again. Just loves tracking to the rocks. He's mad, this kid. We're going to blow his track out, make him sit there, give us a chance at going again, blow his track out again. Doesn't go through, but we get the damage. And yeah, ta-ta to the Jagdpanzer E100. It was nice knowing you. Rate of fire is nice. The PTA wouldn't have been able to do that. I will get round to the review of the PTA. I've got the footage. It's just there is an awful lot coming up on the channel. I've decided to rush an IS-8 review through, even though I don't have huge amounts of gameplay for it, because so many people have asked for it. It's obviously a very difficult tank. So there's our second kill, and they're now focused up there. And this is the team's working really nicely together. They're focused up there on my right, you can see, and we're just taking full advantage of that, beating them on reload. I've got 8 rounds per minute. He's only got about 5 rounds per minute, that IS-8. So I know I can beat him on a reload very comfortably. And then pushing down, we've flanked around. Could be time to go and have some fun. There's that T110E3. We switch to HE, because that's what you do. You switch to HE, let him fire into the poor old Pershing, and then go and do the business. Thank you. And that's it. 1 tank left. And we're very brave now that there's only 1 tank left. We will actually consider leaving our little space there in the world. And would you believe it's the Leopard PTA? There can be only 1 Leopard, I'm afraid. And that's me. So that's 4 kills again. I'm guessing it's going to be another Gold Mastery game. Yep, there you go. Top Gun, Sniper, about 4.5k. And we move onwards and upwards. This one is an interesting one. Castilla with Calvin JJ. I don't think I've had Calvin in a video before without being on the opposition team. He did actually tear me apart when I think I was in the T54. I'm not sure, I can't remember, maybe it was E50M. But here we are, Castilla. I will admit up front, I struggle with this map. Most maps I have a predetermined idea on where I'm going to go. This map doesn't really fulfill that for me. I can go one way or another. I never feel that comfortable. So you can see here, this Panther 2, he can pen me all the time. So I've got to dust him up, or there's shells coming from everywhere. He doesn't have the gun depression. We're going to knock his track out and then try and use that barrel for a little bit of love, give him struggle, make him move. but we're getting shelled from all over. Calvin comes up here and does very good work, saving me from myself. I'm just going to retire Hurt for a touch, have a think about it, put some shells into that Panther. I know that Leopard PTA is down there as well. Good quick reload. He doesn't have that, so we nail him. This tank's just like a massive weapon. Honestly, that reload speed with this gun is phenomenally cool. You don't often get to use that kind of tank. Like, you can see the Panther there, snaps down. This is called Panic at the Disco. It's a move I like to call Panic at the Disco, where I just start freaking out and driving over rocks and playing like an absolute idiot. Good work, me. IS-7, one into the back of him. And you can see they're unzoomed shots. That's how accurate the tank is. We're going to go and use the gun depression, good old Russian gun depression here against him. He can't get shots off without coming down to see me. Calvin's then going to come out and smack him, which is lovely. I'm ready to go down. There he comes. That's all right, because you just come down here, turn around, go back under the bridge. No harm done. And I'm going to try and get back up there in time to give Calvin a hand. That's why I'm saying affirmative. I haven't forgotten about you, Calv. I do, however, bite off more than I can chew in terms of acceleration up a hill there. You can go up hills, you can't go up cliff faces. And here I come. Finally going to get there, Calvin. Yeah, put that one into my platoon mate's tracks, which was excellent. And we're going to decide that we should probably be aggressive here. Things are looking tough all over, and it's important that we get out there and help. I want to get a little bit of a run up, so I'm using that hill there so that I'll go round him. And now I feel safe because we can comfortably get around a Tiger 2. Very comfortably. Look at the turning circle. There we go. So things look grim at the start. We've got no hit points left, but the whole time we've been pumping out damage. You never really stop. As long as you've got a target, you're going to be doing damage. And that's not the same with all tanks. And you can constantly upgrade your look by moving forward, backwards, flanking, relocating. Calvin is going right. I'm just trying to cover him as best I can. I've obviously not got the hit points now to be too brave. But for all that, you can see at the end, we still do pump out a fair amount of damage. It's just one of those tanks that keeps adding up at 350 a pop. 392, good roll there. Very solid. Now, E75, he wants a piece of me, that's for sure. T54 hanging around in respawn, as where all good T54 should obviously be. Excuse me, boys and girls. This chatting with this cold is absolutely torture. Can't get a really good look here at this E75. Calvin's done the right thing. He's moved forward, but the gun depression, even it's got, I haven't mentioned the gun depression stats, by the way. It's got excellent gun depression. And that's one of the things that make it able to go up mountains and still get good looks, is its gun depression is really solid. Calvin's done a great job this whole game. He's basically used me as the artillery and just pushed and pulled and moved forward to actually give shots to the Leopard 1 here, instead of just having me trying to fight my own battles. You can see getting a bit sideways coming around that T54. Quick shot, snapshot, straight in. It's a boomer, this tank. It really is a boomer. And then I am pushing again. Reload's fine. We'll get a good look at him. He's not going to have great gun depression coming around here. We get a bounce. Can you believe it? We get a bounce. Absolutely incredible, and still get there on the reload in time. That's another winner, another gold mastery badge. Onwards and upwards. I think that one was actually 5k plus. That was, no, it was only 4.5, 4.6. But still, solid damage. Great play by Calvin. Well, guess where we are? Winner Malinovka. Again, doing, guess what? Again, there's an enemy medium coming to T54. It's like the Twilight Zone. Honest to God. The amount of times you get some loony on your team camping respawn in a heavy, they'll spot a enemy medium flanking, and then I get to come down here in the Leopard and give him a dose of the hot salts. It's a lovely thing. I can't get over the RPM on this. RPM by RPM, I mean rounds per minute on this tank. Big RPM is great on a medium with a decent alpha. This has got 350 alpha. And it's 0.30 dispersion, 2 seconds aim time. Get those numbers in your head. That's an IS-7. Through an IS-7 at 350 meters, it's a laser beam, APCR. You get the light in this tank, by the way, you move. Anytime you get a light in this tank, you're moving. It doesn't matter where they are. If they can see you, you can be absolutely obliterated by everyone. There is no safe angle for this tank, apart from behind a wall. Watch the IS-8 in our team here. I'm caning this T-32. He just comes along and puts himself carefully in front of me. But that's all right. You're the Leopard 1. You need a slither of daylight. That's all. There you go. Boom. Now, the Indian Panzer on our team, 850, he's doing the right thing. He has not got much of a hope in a Tier 10 game frontally with that tank, so he is going flank and being effective at doing it, keeping targets up for us, and giving us a chance to actually put the damage into him. And he has a big part to play in this game. 850, I congratulated him after the game too. He did a really good job. T62A charges down, completely ignores that M48 pattern, just lets it stroll on by. Someone behind will take care of that, and he's going to give us a bit of stick. There you go. The E5 took out the pattern, so we're now in trouble. This T62 has to go. Absolutely has to go. Now, he is going to be my prime target. You've seen I'm just going him. This is where this tank is so refreshing. We're going to pump the gas, get down there, and give him a little bit of stick, but we're going to get nice and deep so that we're not viewable by the guys coming down that hill and they can't start putting fire into us. Look at that, on the move, right through the drill box. Back it up. We get a bounce on the top of the hull because he can't really get that gun down on a 62A. Might get him, but it's now 2 on 5, 2 on 4, because we know what we're doing with this tank. We are killing mediums, ASAP. Get rid of that. Now it's 2 on 3, looking better. At T34, he's dropped the adrenaline. We're not really interested in giving him free shots. We're not going out till we get a reload on. And even then, we're just going to shoot one off and back up. Just trying to draw fire from him. There's that 850 in the Indian doing really well. Just coming around the back and cleaning up the scraps. We get our second bounce. Somewhere an angel loses its wings. We have bounced 2 shots. And we know we're in trouble here. We don't have the hit points. So what do? Go away. Just go away. They can't keep up with us. There's absolutely nothing they can do. Look at this thing take off in real time. This isn't sped up. It is just a ball terror. It's getting air left and right, flat spaces. It doesn't matter. If you're in trouble, go somewhere else. You've got 10% on your coated optics. So even if they follow you and you're set up in camo, you're going to see them first and you're going to get the first shot. And I've won lots of games by doing this, kiting them, they call it. It's an old RPG term from when you used to be able to cast damage over time spells, run, cast another one, that kind of thing. That's what you're doing here, and we've got a blind shot on that T-34. We nail him, and then straight away, we just come back. I'm saying negative to Ape, just hold him there, keep him spotted, see what he thinks. I've got no heat, time to go. And he does that. Ape does a really good job. He's a tier 8 medium, and he's got a tier 10 heavy in front of him, and he's gone the whole length of the field. He's spotted them both. You'll see I'm not driving back through the cap circle. I don't want to alert the IS-7 that I am indeed on the way back. So we've left, gone back, got our kill shot, and we're going to get back in time to dust up this IS-7 as well. And the Indian just keeps him still, keeps holding his fire. When he sees me, he attacks, so that he actually draws this IS-7 completely off his game. The IS-7 is now tunneling the Indian Panzer, who has way more hit points than I do and can afford to take a couple of shots, and has not paid any attention to where I am. And as such, he is going to get hammered. And there's our 6th kill. Good game, 850. A very good game, the Indian Panzer. Not sure how much damage that... I think that was over 5k, surely. Certainly felt like it. Onwards and upwards. 6 kills, Top Gun, Mastery Badge, and 5259. Excellent stuff. And you can see there the stats in terms of actual shots fired and shots hit, as always, were absolutely primo. It's that kind of tank. And added 850 as a friend. Very happy with his performance there. Always lovely to drive a tank with someone who knows what they're doing. We're back on Middleburg, North Spawn. Calvin JJ is the guinea pig here. He is going to push forward and just hold that area. You can see they have 3 medium tanks. We have 2. Calvin's a strong driver. He's going to hold the line for me, and I'm going to pump fire into them. You can go up there. Look, it's personal preference, but there's we have 3, but they've actually got 2 up there. But you'll note how effective this gun is here. We're going to put a shot in the side turret of a T62A at range on the left with APCR. You can see how quickly APCR flies. That's something AP cannot do. Then we're going to nail into the top turret of an E50M, again at range, and then finish off with a quick one into a T44. You'll see how far we have to lead that, even on a moving target, is very, very small indeed, the lead time on any shot. It's a laser beam, guys. It's an absolute laser beam. You want to be firing this gun. You want to fire this gun as often as possible. It's just beautiful. Again, we get a shot into the bottom of a T110E5, the lower glacis. So they've obviously pushed up. This is going to be a little bit tough. Into the side turret. Now that hits, but for some reason the damage indicator doesn't come up. It's been something since patch 1.9. That's been the case on occasion. So although Calvin has sold his soul dearly, the T54 is gone. It's just me and him. We're going to get a great shot. You'll see the shot we get on this T110E5 right on the nodule, gone. APCR like a laser beam straight through the hatch. We drop the hammer and do 70 odd down here without any qualms whatsoever when you're going downhill under engine boost, and we get there very, very quickly. Yag Tiger still in the respawn. Not the best spot for him to be, but he's in a bit of a rough spot now because the flank has obviously fallen. They've stacked the flank. They had 5 tanks up there. Not much we can do about that. We botch a shot here, which really should have gone in. Then we start turning around to try and return fire. Calvin's saying this is what I call bad luck, and he's right. You might not know it, but in the few games before this, every time we play, everywhere he's gone, he's been rushed by massive numbers of tanks. We still won him, but that's what counts. Horrible shot here from me. Nothing to do with the tank. This T-34 is having a siesta right in the middle of spawn, or just at the start of the town itself. So we elect to use him successfully. We're going to polish off that E50M first. Just get rid of him. And then the IS-8. E50M backs away. Just going out, abusing this T-34 really frustrates people when you're hiding behind a live tank. As soon as we see the gun smoke, that's quick enough since his shot for me to actually beat him on the reload still. There we go. He drops adrenaline and I say thanks very much. You can just have a little bit of time there with yourself, thinking about adrenaline, how you want to do it. I am keeping him off till he goes out of camo. Then I'll hit. By the time he spots me, I'm back in. His adrenaline's just getting wasted. He's then put a shot into the T-34. Gives me time to move out, and he's moving, so I'm not worried. He's got a 2.9 second aim time on IS-8, so I'm not worried about him stopping and beating me on the reload there. If he's going to be moving, it's going to take too long for him to do that. So we're now rolling around. It's 3 tanks each. Now the E50M. Now the T62A. Now a bit unlucky here. Just managed to spend a little bit more hit points than we wanted to, which counts a great deal at the end. That little shot, we should have taken a little bit longer with that shot that ended up on the tracks, because that extra hit points would have been really handy. Now that T-44 has actually just killed the T-34, but I wasn't paying close enough attention there. I can see that on the replay, but to be honest, in the game itself, I wasn't paying that much attention, and I didn't know where he'd killed the T-34. I wasn't really watching, and as such, I think he's down here. The last time I looked at the mini-map, he was down here. He's obviously circled all the way around back. I could have gone and engaged him very early on in the piece if I had gone straight back to where that T-34 was camping, but I didn't, and so, yeah, a bit rough. This is an example, too, of why you can sometimes struggle in this tank, because you will occasionally bounce on tanks like T-44s. The Ruskies have that lovely sloped frontal glacis, and if they come at you at the right angle, you get tracks and occasional bounces. So I've had a pretty solid game up till now, and then I managed to stuff it up because everything he fires at me is going to go in. Okay, everything. There is no, it's just nearly impossible to get a decent bounce in this tank on purpose. You'll get one occasionally just because it happens, but you can't make it happen. There's no great degree of certainty that you can do that with, as opposed to, say, a T-44 or a T-54. And you see around here, we fire into his tracks. Horrible, horrible mistake. Probably because I'm using auto aim there on sniper mode, and then we get the bounce in the front. So now he's had the chance to put some shells into us, and we're just trying to beat him on a reload, but we miss it. Now, struggle. Because we've got to get this shot and then get away before the reload's on, and we do. So we're now a chance. We're just pulling back. That's all right. Still alive. Get the shot, reverse up hard into that corner so that we're not worried anymore. We just want to make sure that we've got a reload on the pipe by the time he gets around, and we get the win. So a bit poor at the end in terms of play style, but we got it done, and we got the win, and that's the last one I'll make you watch. Another mastery game, Top Gun, 5 kills, 6,175 damage. Calvin would have done a hell of a lot of spotting damage there from me. Really good job by him, and pretty solid game from that T-44 there at the end as well. So yeah, what a tank. I enjoy it immensely. You can see there from the gameplay that you'll be punished anytime you give someone any kind of shot on your chassis or your turret. But likewise, if you have any kind of shot on anyone else, it's very, very likely that it goes in. Your hit rates will go up with this tank. Your penetration values on it are brilliant. You've got great gun depression. 258 pen on your APCR, which has great shell velocity for sniping. And yeah, I mean, E50M has 270 pen. You've got 268. It's like 2 penetration on average that you're missing from an E50M. You've both got that 340 penetration on average for your heat, but you've got that extra round a minute, and you've got 0.1 second less aim time. You've got much better camo than an E50M, and you're certainly quicker off the mark and much more maneuverable. You do not have that strong upper plate and the ability to side scrape like an E50M can, and I love both tanks pretty much equally, but this tank is hilarious to drive. And as you saw from the amount of gold M games I've had, it's also obviously not the most popular tank. I think people quite often, they'll grind something very quickly when it comes out as new. They'll throw free XP and everything at it, and then they get there and they're like, holy hell, this is not even close to what I thought it'd be. If you drive this tank or have any preconceptions about driving this tank like any other medium you've ever driven, you will be in for an absolute terpsing. You need to drive it like every shot will explode you on impact. If you do that, if you take care with it and use the speed and agility when the game progresses to be a really moving, hard to hit, flexible tank that can change flanks and snipe and constantly relocate and displace, then you can be successful in it. But it's not an easy drive. The better you are as a player, the better this tank's going to perform. I can't get it to 60%. I drive an awful lot solo in this tank, but it's a hard graft to carry a game. It's still a lot of fun though. There's nothing like driving something along and accidentally forgetting you're doing 65 kilometers an hour, hitting a small bump, going 30 feet in the air and breaking tracks and losing hit points. You've got to be careful at all times. Anyway, boys and girls, we've got a few things coming up. We've got an IS-8 review. I will get round to the Leopard PTA. I've got lots of other stuff I want to do, and there's going to be some official wargaming stuff that comes down the pipe from me. over the next wee while, since we've now been brought on board as a video contributor. I can't tell you anything about it, but it's going to be exciting stuff anyway. I'm Bushka on Blitz. As always, add me on Twitter at Bushka on Blitz. Come and have a chat on the channels of the Asian Game Server portals, or just add me in game as a friend, and maybe we can plat up and say a g'day. Stay safe, humans, and see you on the battlefield.